Hey everyone, it's Logan L here with a model collection update, particularly with all of my diecast aircraft. I have done just a model aircraft collection update in the past, that was a while ago, and this is my diecast aircraft collection update. As you can see, there are a decent number of them, many of them being civil aircraft airliners. It may be a little bit before people join the stream, so it's going to be a still image for a little while, but we'll wait. Who's in the stream? I see someone. Say hello, how are you? How's it going? I suppose we can start things off and just go around with what I've got. This is my biggest model back here. It's a Gemini 200 Delta 777-200ER. One of my favorites, and then I have two others of those back there. Hey Takeoff, how are you? Here's my diecast aircraft collection as of right now, many of which being Gemini jets. We have a few other brands as well. One that I've not mentioned at all on this channel, it's the JC Wings brand. Definitely really good. Easily competes with Gemini jets. And there's Postage Stamp by Darren, and then there's Hobby Master too. They do a lot of the warbirds. Many of these are Gemini jets. We have a Phoenix model in the middle there, and a JC Wings 787-10 back there too. There's a Gemini Imported Southwest 737-700 up here, as well as some more rare models, as you could say. The 700 and the 800 from Southwest in the Canyon delivery. The 700 is pretty easy to acquire. It's on eBay all over the place. It is a pretty hefty price, so I've found it at around 80-ish, but sometimes it gets higher. The 800 though, I was lucky to find it. There was only one, and it was also on eBay too, so I get a lot of mine. It was difficult to find, and I was lucky to find it. There was only like one, and I snagged that. And since then I have not seen a single listing for it anywhere. Another somewhat uncommon one is the Gemini Max C-17. This one's from Dover. I've seen one of these at MSP, that's why I wanted to get it. The postage stamp one's back here. It's an SR-71 Blackbird in 1 turned it scale, and then it's an S-22 Raptor. Let's see, look at the scale on the side over here, 1/145th. Weird thing about the postage stamp ones too, the scales are all wonky. I say wonky because they're not like consistent. They have a wide variety of scales. It seems to be, just from my logic, that they have the different scales, so that way the aircraft generally end up to be somewhat the same size, if that makes any sense. And this is a Hobby Master Spitfire back here. This same kind of aircraft is featured in the movie Dunkirk. Very good movie. This one has retractable landing gear that comes up and down, propeller spins, cockpit windows open, a little figurine, and there's rubber too. He comes out. Interesting feature. Lots of detail in this one. You can read the prints on that. Every single word on here is easily readable, which is interesting. All the ones my finger hits, the 777's back there, 737's up here, and that one, the C-17, are all Gemini jets. The two in the middle, the one on the left, that's an Atlas Air 747-400. Now, interesting thing about Atlas Air, they're a cargo airline, but they do have a few charter aircraft. This is one of the two in their white and gold livery or paint scheme, whatever you want to call it. And this one, the registration, is N263SG, or November 263 Sierra Golf. I have caught that one in MSP before. Had to wake up really early to go catch it. Had a notification set on Flight Radar 24. Very cool catch. That one, we have to go digging around a little bit, but that one is on my channel a little farther back. This one, I have never seen a 78710, but I was at a model shop in St. Paul and I saw this one, and I also saw that it was fairly rare online, so I decided to snag it when I had the opportunity. I got it at a very reasonable price too, for the model and the quality too. Probably one of my most prized ones of all of these is the Gemini 200, Dell 777-200ER. The LR would have the larger engine, being the GE90, as well as the winglet. Otherwise, the look is basically the same. The registration on this one is November 864 Delta Alpha, a very frequent aircraft at MSP. It is scheduled to come in here, I believe, at 11:20 tomorrow morning, which is pretty cool. I've seen this one a few times, and it is on my channel. The actual aircraft, of course. The engine, or the power plant of the aircraft, it has two Rolls-Royce Trent 800s. Very good engines, they sound amazing. From experience, of course. This one is probably one of my most expensive ones. It's a Gemini 200 Southwest 737-700 in the Heart livery. It is a very nice livery, cool paint scheme. I'm kind of torn between favorites on the two Southwest liveries. The Canyon Blue one was my favorite for a while. The Heart one livery too is it is really, really good. It seems more modern, but that's just me, and it does look really, really good. This is a very, very expensive model. Pretty rare too. All the list. I mean, I say rare in the sense that I'm pretty sure I've only seen it on eBay for listings, and if it was in any other place, it was ridiculously expensive too. This one, it was somewhat expensive, but definitely worth it. In all the listings I've seen just recently to kind of see how the prices have gone up with it, I have seen it close to 200 before, and I find it interesting because the other variant of the 737 that Southwest has, the 800, well, there's a Max 8 too, but in terms of these two models, there's the 700 and the 800 in the same paint scheme. Yeah, the 800, I've seen it listed for like 70, and that was just like a few days ago, whereas this one pushes like 200. I just find it very interesting how the aircraft are two, how they're very, very similar, but the prices differ so much because of the demand of the aircraft. Interesting. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the two Gemini aircraft you see here, the Southwest 737 and the Delta 777, those were both just about the same price. Just goes to show how different the demand of the aircraft can be. Back here we have two aircraft that are basically the same. This is another Delta 777, basically the same as large one here, just half the size and 1/4 scale. And there is a single number difference on the back. This one's N865VA. The larger one is N864. Over on the right here we have another Delta 777. This one is the LR though, so it has the extended winglets and the GE90. A rather odd thing I found about the engines, they should be significantly larger than the ones on the ER on the left here, but they're not. They're actually just about the same size. We only have just a few minor detail differences. So Gemini Jet Crew did not use a different mold for the GE90, so I just found interesting. And another interesting thing about the LR too, pick it up real quick. The antenna on the bottom rear is yellow, not white like it is on the ER. That was something I found interesting. This Phoenix one here, the landing gear is very well detailed. I mean, all the landing gear on this is detailed fairly well, but this one is amazing. The tires are rubber, consistent with all the models I have here, but they roll, which I find pretty incredible for it being a 1/400 scale aircraft. Normally with the 1/400 scale ones you wouldn't really expect to have landing gear roll. Rubber tires are pretty common with the diecast aircraft, but well, when they roll, that's when they have some really good quality. And speaking of the rolling tires, this JC Wing 78710 has the rolling tires as well. No tilt though, that would be a bit much. For a 1/400 scale aircraft I would expect the gear to tilt, but for 1/400, the fact that they roll is pretty crazy. Interesting thing about this JC Wing 78710, the flaps and the flaps are deployed. This is my first model that has that feature, and I kind of like it. I think it's pretty cool. None of the other models have the flaps deployed. They're all retracted fully. No flaps either. I mean, the flaps deploy when the flaps come out, but it's a combination of the two. That wing, so sweet. Love that. I'm kind of put that back real quick. Very carefully, of course, you don't want to drop them. They are metal, so they are fairly sturdy, but the metal isn't what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the paint. It does chip. You don't want that. The Gemini Max C17 is also another full model that I have. The paint scheme on this, it's basically gray, and it's a matte gray. It's not flat, not gloss. It's that nice in between. The detail on this one too is really good. So crisp. The only thing about zooming into it is seeing all the dust and the little particles that are on them. That's okay. And as you can see here, this is an aircraft of 1/4 scale. So no antennas on this one, but it does have the beacon light on the back, and a old Gemini jet represents that, and a small red jewel, which I find fits perfectly. And you compare the little red jewel on the top of the rudder there to, like, I think it's an older release, it might be, I'll look at the box, but this one, the beacon light, is represented as a simple little red dot, which works okay for the scale, but sometimes having the little jewel pretty neat too. The Southwest one over here has it too, as does the 777 back there. And so if I'm not mistaken, everything except for this one, and the SR-7 drone back there are all, oh, and that one too. These are all in the front scale. All the airliners you see here. Not that one, that's not an airline, that's a cargo aircraft, but all the ones in the middle here are all 1/4 scale. I find it interesting how, like, I've been on both of these aircraft here, and they seem pretty big, but then you see all the ones back here, and they're just huge. It kind of blows my mind. That's just me. And I do not know the scale for the Spitfire back here, but from what I've seen online, I'm pretty sure it's 1/72 scale. It's a pretty common scale for the Warbird models. I do scale modeling, so I'm familiar with the 1/35, 1/48, and 1/72 scales, and I've seen a few kits that have the 1/72 scale on them, and this seems pretty close to it. And it would make sense too. A lot of the Hobbymaster ones are 1/72 scale, and if they were a good brand, they would probably keep it consistent. The Phoenix one back here is, oh hey JJ, how are you? The Phoenix one back here, it's an older release, it's 2010, it's a really rare model too. It has no antennas whatsoever. That's good, I'm pretty darn good going through all the models. What do you want to see? I have them all laid out here. Which one do you want to see? Okay. I suppose I'll continue with the Phoenix 747 here from Atlas Air. As I was saying, this one has no antenna detail, as it is a fairly old release. It came out in 2010, which would make this model 9 years old. This is the only Model 2 that I've received that has came broken out of the box. The left wing was completely loose, so I had to tape that one with some super glue. Nope, this one is 263 SG. I've actually seen both. They're both on my channel too. Yeah, this one's 263, the first 747 that I've ever seen in an airport. And if I'm not mistaken, I have done some research, but I don't think there's a single model of 322. I'm pretty sure. Which is okay. JC Wings has the same plain 1/4 scale. I've seen that online in a few listings, particularly on eBay. Find a lot of the more rare models on there. People don't want them, so they sell them. I was contemplating getting that one, but the paint scheme for this one is white, and it's more of a champagne kind of gold. But the JC Wings one does not get it quite right. It's more like a gold, and it doesn't seem really right. So I went with this one, and it works perfectly fine, especially for a 2010 release that has some very, very fine detail. Definitely satisfactory, that's for sure. Over here, one that I haven't mentioned yet. So quiet and stealthy. Is that better at all? My mic on my phone can get a little sketchy sometimes, so it might just be that. Is that better at all? Okay. Then it could be the range of where I am speaking. Before it was like a foot away, now it's a lot closer. Wonder what would happen if I put my Bluetooth earbuds in. They have mics, they're pretty good. I wonder. Well, I'm not going to risk it. I don't even know where they are right now anyways. Over here we have a JC Link 78710. This one honestly can easily compete, if not top, Gemini Jets models because of just the sheer level of detail. Overall, it is ridiculously well detailed. I mean, the engines are so much detail all over the place. And the flaps are deployed on this one too, which is pretty cool. I like that feature. Cool thing about the experimental 78710, it has all of the rudders of the carriers that were interested or ordered it. That's something Boeing has done with a lot of their aircraft. They have the carriers who have ordered it on the front. With some of my more rare ones up front here, particularly this Gemini Jet 1400 Southwest 737-800 in the Canyon Blue livery. This one I have only found like once, and I got it as soon as I saw it, just because I knew already how rare it was. And this one's probably a favorite of mine. It's a beautiful livery, beautiful plane, and it's rare too, so makes it great. And an odd thing I noticed about this one, so the right engine is in just about all the way, perfectly fine for a 1/4 scale model, but the right engine, that was the left one, this is the right one. The right engine number 2, as you can clearly see, is roughly a millimeter short out of where it's supposed to be. It is like way far off, and I just found that really, really weird, how it totally wasn't even in place. Odd, I guess. Not too big of a deal, just me putting my little attention to detail, but yeah. Just found that interesting how it wasn't in quite all the way. This one over here, the 700, same brand, scale, everything, same paint scheme, same airline, but just the 700 variant, not the 800. It's cool having two aircraft that are basically the same, just the variants are slightly different. You can see in the link. I've never seen Warrior one. That is pretty cool. This one, it is, if I get it in the light here, it is N8302F. Give you a second to look at that. It's cool seeing the registration numbers and all the models and looking them up on your flight trackers and seeing where they go. I've set up alerts for a few of these coming to MSP. This one I've set an alert for. N865DA back here, I have one. Is it really their second? I'm kind of curious on that actually. If you can look that up, that'd be great. I'm pretty curious on that if it's their second. On Flight Radar, I have alerts set for the 747 here, the 777-200ER back here, this one too, that one, and I know I have this one set, but I don't know if I've done this one yet. Just because there are some times it's like an opportune time for me to be able to go to MSP, and it's nice having the alerts set there, so maybe if like I'm on my way there, it happens to pop up, so I gotta wait to see it. That's always fun to do. I have to get my parents to cooperate though. That can be difficult sometimes, but it is what it is. I suppose we've gone through the majority of these now. I can look at the biggest one I have right now. It is ridiculously big. This is the Gemini 200 Delta 777-200ER. And it is massive. This one has all the detail you could possibly think of. The landing gear is magnetic, the gear pivots and tilts in the back. It rolls. Yeah, it is huge. It's just over a foot long. I don't think there's a ruler in my immediate vicinity, but it is just over a foot long. The landing gear rolls, rear gear tilts, the nose gear turns. You can kind of get it. Yeah, there we go. And it is magnetic too, so it just pops right out. It is really, really heavy too. It weighs just about 3 pounds. Not quite in the light, but you can kind of see the fan blades in there. And those both spin freely, very, very well, which is nice. And if I were to zoom out here, It's got the antennas, Wi-Fi box. As of, well, now, when I've seen it, last time I've seen it, the actual aircraft, this is NH-6040A, it has 2 Wi-Fi boxes instead of 1, but this is an older release too. It does not have the Gulf logo on the bottom either. You can kind of pick it up. Like, it's heavy, but it's not that heavy. You just gotta get used to it, I guess. Yeah, no Dutch logo on the bottom, and the gear tilts backwards right now. It's just the natural way it falls. But then this is the ER, so it's got the Rolls-Royce Trent 800. Yeah, right? Seriously. Oh, I'm all sitting below me too. Definitely don't drop it. This is the ER, so it doesn't have the extended winglets, and it has the Rolls-Royce Trent 800 instead of the GE90 110 that the LR would have. The 777-300 has the G91 spool that Gemini just has on this model too, is the no step lines. So the no step markings along the fuel tank outlines on the wings. I think that's pretty cool. You can clearly read it, as you can see there. It's upside down just with the angle on that, but yeah, there we go. Hey, there's Alex. Hello. Alright, I'll zoom out. Alex, which one do you want to see? Do you have any preference? I'm kind of just going through them at random, but is there anything in particular you want to see? Oh wait, no pressure. Which one? I have 3. Both of these were for around 80, so which one? Actually, it's going to be just a moment. I have to put the phone down. There's something going on downstairs. I will be right back. So I didn't lose anyone. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. Had an issue going on downstairs, had to go deal with that. So Alex, you wanted to see one of the smaller ones. Which one do you want to see? Not a lot. What's up? One on the left. Okay, so this is the Southwest 737-700 in the Canyon Blue livery in 1/400 scale. This one's pretty rare. You can see it on eBay for around, well, 70, 75, but I've seen it for higher too. The registration on this one is November 478, Whiskey November. And has come to MSG on occasion too, which is pretty neat. One thing that I think would be better on this one is the landing gear. It's good, but I feel like it could just be better. The wheels are clearly glued on. It can be a little sloppy in some areas, but it's okay. Could be worse, could be better, but I suppose considering the year of release and the scale too, not that bad at all. Yeah, and Gemini Jet 46, here's all of them sitting here, relatively at the same angle too. Yeah, not perfect. LR back here needs to turn a little bit. There we go. That's better. Alright, Gemini Jet 46, is there anything you want to see? I have them all laid out here. Actually, he might not still be here, I don't know. That's okay. Alright, what's next? What do you guys want to see? This one here? Well, it's the only one I have too, but This is one of Atlas Air's charter aircraft. The registration on this one is November 263 Sierra Golf. Jay, do you want to see the Raptor? Okay. I will move things around a little bit real quick to make some room. Very, very careful, of course, don't want to drop anything. Hate it when that happens. Alright, so the Raptor here, this is by a brand that's not too common, but it is by Darren. It's their postage stamp series. Postage stamp, an interesting one. Overall, surface detail is really good. The print quality is definitely great. The markings right there in silver, a little off, but it happens. Yeah, this one's definitely really cool. An interesting thing too, the F-22s you would see flying around today, the wings are angled slightly forward, and this scale would be like by just a millimeter or two, and then it wouldn't just have the single angle right here. There'd be one in between, so it'd be kind of like cut off right there, just slightly. That's something I found interesting. This is the like original F-22. They kind of updated it and changed the wing just slightly. This one's definitely really cool. The cockpit could have more detail, but it's perfectly fine, especially in the scale too. Looks good. Bit of a odd scale too. It's 1/145th. I've seen some like model kits that are in 1/144th, but the other one, it's a bit of an odd one, which is okay. It's definitely a cool model. One of my favorite kits too. That's why I got this one. Go ahead and put it on back here. And then we have another military plane here. We have the C-17 Globemaster. I believe this is the Globemaster 3, I think. I have the box sitting down there. Yes, it is the 3. Okay. I had the box sitting like 6 feet away, and I was just trying to eyeball what it said. But it was the Globemaster 2 or 3. And it is definitely the 3. This one is from Dover Air Force Base. I'm getting it right here. There we go. Dover. Cool thing about this one too, it has the dual beacon light on the back, which is a neat feature that I like on the government models. A lot of the 1 front scale ones don't have them, especially the older releases like these two here, but that one just happens to have it, and it's definitely a nice touch. I also like the quality of the paint on this one. It's a very smooth matte finish in gray. Ooh, you've seen a Super Galaxy? Those are cool. When I lived down in Arizona, there was a air show down at Davis Moss. I think it was a yearly thing, but it was back when the C5s were a little more common than they are now, and they actually had the front and the back open, and you could walk through it. But at the time, I was like super little, so it wasn't as crazy as it would be to me now when I'm more of an ad geek, but it was definitely cool. C5s are cool. I like the older engines too. I don't know. Well, I mean, I know why they changed it. Just the newer ones, the newer engines would be more efficient, but the older ones certainly sound better. I'll have to check out that video. I'm interested in seeing that. C5s are really cool. It's a shame they're not really flying anymore, but they are super cool. I think one of my personal favorites of all of these would have to be the 747 in the middle, as it is the first one I've ever seen in an airport. I was really excited when I saw this one, and the fact that I found a model of it too was pretty cool. Okay, cool. Let's screenshot that real quick. Okay, sweet. I'll have a look at that in a minute, once I'm done with this, of course. Weird thing about the 777, all of the tires on this roll perfectly fine, but when it's sitting down, it doesn't really roll all that well. It's kind of stiff. I think part of it has to do with the weight just sitting on the gear, but yeah, interesting. Love the landing gear on the 777 too, especially how it tilts. Yeah. Right in the back here we have a ER on the left and LR on the right. A weird thing with this too, and JJ, I don't know if you have any 777s that have the Rolls-Royce Trent 800 or the G9110, but with Gemini jets, the engine, this is the Rolls-Royce Trent 800 right there, and the G9110. The engine molds are the same. They did not change it, which I thought was really weird. The G90 should be slightly shorter and wider, but it's not. It's just the same on this model. On the LR over here. And the registration on this one is November 707 Delta November. I can zoom in enough. Yeah, there it is. Just a weird thing with those two, but I suppose at the scale it's perfectly acceptable. The LR is a lot older too, and the only real difference between the engines is maybe like slight print detail, but generally it's the same. As you can see there, the engine cowling on the ER with the Rolls-Royce Trent 800. The cowling is a lot thinner, more narrow ring, but on the G90 it's back a bit more. There's more silver to it. It's a weird thing. One that I haven't talked about a whole lot yet is this rare Gemini 200 Southwest 700 in the new livery. It's a long title. Can really get you. One thing Gemini definitely nailed on this model is the winglet. It is crisp and clean and really, really nice looking. Love that winglet for sure. And this one, the landing gear could have been better, I feel like. The tires do not like to roll at all. The nose one is a little loose and it'll roll, but the other ones back here are feisty. They don't like to roll. A cool feature though I do like is the rubber inside the stand hole, which prevents scratching on the inside, but I still prefer to have it sitting on the ground. That's how I like to display my models. And from the front you can clearly see that the wings are flexed upwards just slightly to show that they're in flight. The landing gear, it's not magnetic, but it does pop right out, and you can switch it out so it can be in flight. That's cool. And just so it's more realistic in flight, they have the wings bent upwards slightly, as if they were flexing as they would be in flight. One of my favorite features of this one back here is the elevator detail. I know it's a bit of an odd thing, but it just looks so good. I like how they have the detail on the inside right there, where the elevator meets the fuselage, showing how the elevator can actually move for trim. Something that I didn't find out until recently too, which I find really interesting. The whole elevator can actually tilt up and down for trim. I thought the elevator would just like automatically move to a certain position when I set the trim, but no, the entire elevator actually moves. Like the whole part of it, not just the control surface in the back. I thought that was what moved, but nope. I mean, it does move, just like for the trim. It doesn't move. It stays the same. The whole elevator moves for trim, which I just found interesting. I like the front of this one too. In the lighting, you can kind of see how it's not totally perfect, especially like right here. Not perfectly round, but that is perfectly fine. It is die-cast, and it's very, very big too, so it's not going to be perfect, but considering all the possibilities of errors and molding and things, it does come out really, really well. I think I'm going to stop it here unless there's anything that someone wants to see. Yeah, it does have a few bumps, but it's actually just the lighting. If I were to kind of pivot it here, as you're looking at it right now, and you turn it, you can't really see it. It looks basically fine. But sometimes you can just see how it's not totally perfect. I mean, none of these models are perfect, as a matter of fact. The cockpit windows on this one are slightly tilted. Not by much, but enough to notice if you're really, really trying to find things. But yeah, none of these are perfect, but considering all of the things that could go wrong, they do come out very, very well. And I like that about them. I think I'm going to stop it here unless there's anything else you guys want to see. Anything in particular. We have 777s in the back, a few 737s in the front. There's a JC Wing 787-10 back there in the middle. We have an Atlas Air 747 right there in the middle too. A Gemini Max C-17 Globemaster, the Hobbymaster Supermarine Spitfire, an SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-22 Raptor there. And that's basically all of them, so if there's anything else you want to see, say it now, otherwise I'm going to call it here. All right.